What's up, guys? This is Foreign in the building. We are live, literally live moments after SPW Ignition. This is an interesting way to do the podcast because I'm without Mr. Young, but I'm with the sponsors today from Mirage Advisory. Say hi, guys.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Okay, so this is Daniel.
Yep. Hi, how are you guys doing? Amazing day today.
Yeah. And this is Pyros, right?
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Okay, so Daniel, I'll start with you first, okay? So this is their first time actually catching like a local wrestling show, right?
Yeah.
So now we finally drag you here. We want to show you what it's all about. So tell us what's your feelings, what's your emotions after the show?
Okay. Really, if you ever watched wrestling when you were young, take the chance to come to a local scene. It's insane. It's the same feeling. Growing up and watching it live here, you know, the experience, you can only believe it when you're there. And we've got to say thank you to Kick to the Gut. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. It's such a pleasure, it's such an honor, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so literally this was moments after the main event. We have a new champion, man. So SPW Southeast Asian champion, the statement, he was on our show last week, and it seems like, yeah, five-time champion. Bro, Fyro, this is your first time seeing the statement live. We saw him on the podcast last week. How do you feel seeing the match, seeing what just transpired?
It's very different. I think most of us, we have the views on how local wrestling will be like in overseas lah. I mean, like when you're watching at WWE or maybe like the old school WWF. But when you're watching it over here in person and you see the characters, you know, play out and how they actually fight one another, it's a bit different. So yeah, thanks again to Kick to the Gut for bringing us here. I didn't even know that this exists in Singapore. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so like basically what just happened, right? Like quick lowdown, right? So not only did Statement win the title, he actually got a lot of help from a very brand new faction in SPW,
I think it's a brand new one they're going to start up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of insane. It was like a big plot twist, I would say.
Yeah.
I think it was a shocker for myself and Fahad. It was like, holy shit. Oh.
Yeah,
Don't
correct. Because what literally happened was that the Midnight Bastards, right? A young tag team, we saw a lot of potential in them. Mason and RJ, they literally helped Statement win the title by dirty means. And it seems like there's a new faction in town in SPW, man. And what ended up being a 6-man showdown between Aiden Rex, who unfortunately lost the title, with the Horrors, who came to save the day against the three of them. So that's a very, very interesting thing. Okay, let's take things from the very beginning, right? Yeah. The very first match, right? Okay, Pyros for you. It's a women's match, right? So how do you feel seeing like Alexis Lee and Maya, I can't remember what's her name, Maya Yukihi from Crystal Snow from Japan?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, usually I would expect it to be a males match in the first round. But one of the kicks that I think it was under, who was it? Who did the kick? Snow, is it?
Crystal Snow.
Yeah. Her kick was solid.
Yeah.
Super hard. Awesome.
Nice.
Very different. Awesome, really.
Yeah, so the Japanese, the way they strike really like next level. Huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. And of course, Alexis Lee apparently lost the match and also announced that she is actually leaving Singapore permanently to go to Japan training. So how do you feel about one of our Singapore female wrestlers going to Japan?
I mean, that's amazing to hear, you know, knowing that this community is getting the recognition not only in Singapore, but, you know, internationally. So let's continue supporting them and each and every wrestlers in Singapore, you know, for them to fulfill their dreams, you know.
Awesome.
It's such an amazing thing to see that, you know, from a small country, we are growing internationally.
All right, cool. Okay, so not only do we have our sponsors here today, we actually have some of our listeners. Can I pull a friend of us, people you might be familiar with, Kick to the Guts listeners? Tovakin, can you come over here, man? Come. I want to get your thoughts on some of the matches, bro. Okay. So we're talking about the Trickster versus the Mafia Mercenary Riz. Tell me, bro, like, what's your thoughts on the two of them and what do you think about their match?
I think they have really leveled up, man. Yeah, they really improved their wrestling skill. Very pleasantly surprised at how smooth the match went. So that's actually one of my favorite matches of the night.
Yeah. So the thing about Wolf Ram Cartel, right? Apparently they had like a very dramatic falling out. What's the guy named Sane RH or whatever? What do you feel about that?
Well, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, I guess because they just drifted apart. I mean, the leadership. He said something about the leadership. Yeah, not being, you know, what it used to be.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I guess it was bound to happen.
Okay, cool. I want to get your thoughts on another match as well. Number 3, the very infamous Ricky Malik and his open challenge and with Cantona. So how do you feel about this Ricky Malik character, bro?
I just think he's like a budget MJF.
Hey, he's literally behind us, so like we better be careful, lah. Yeah.
I say what I said. I say
Okay.
what I said.
Cool,
But it was still a pretty cool match.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
pretty cool match.
And the thing about this JD Lee, we never heard about him. Some Korean guy suddenly came in and
Yeah,
very beloved guy.
Oppa, man, Oppa.
see.
Everybody loves the Korean guy, man.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point in time, we literally have Ricky Malik at the back. So, would you like to come and do an interview here? No, he's ignoring me. Okay, take a photo first. Mr. Ricky Malik, can I just ask you a very quick question?
What?
Okay, Ken, please take a photo. Okay. Okay, I'll help you take. Okay, so this is literally happening live as it's happening. Okay. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Here you go. Oh, one more?
One more.
Alright, sure. Okay. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright, okay, cool. Mr. Ricky Malik, can I ask you a very fast question, sir? We saw you showcase. Oh, okay, no problem. We saw you showcase your.
What happened to the phone?
Okay, I think clearly probably like low battery. Intern things lah, bro. Intern things lah. Okay, anyway, back to the question, right? We saw you put out an open challenge. You're being very very fair, and suddenly this Iman came with some Korean import, JD Lee. What's your thoughts of actually facing that? Because you certainly have a lot of things to say about all these Korean people.
Imbeciles.
Yes, imbeciles. Yes, I agree. You did eventually, came face to face with Destroyer Dharma, and Cantona apparently met his match. What's your thoughts on a potential situation that you might have with Dharma in the future?
You just saw that I got kicked in the face by Iman.
Yes.
Swanton bomb by JD Lee. And you dare to ask me all these questions.
Just doing my job, sir.
Your job.
Yes.
Your job sucks.
I agree, actually.
Oi! It's my interview.
Yes. Cool.
Oh, and also,
Yes.
I saw you rate me 3 stars.
Oh, yes.
Why is that?
Technically, not me. It's the whole community.
Not me, only community.
Yes, average.
You know what, I'm done with this.
Okay, cool. So, you all know how Ricky Malik feels about your 3 stars. So, guys, please vote for him because I'm pretty sure he did a decent rating this time around. So, yeah. Anyway, back to you guys. You guys want to join in? Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. So this is what you get for sponsoring the podcast. You get wrestlers trying to pick a fight. Can we at this point in time finally bring in our lovely div? Yes. Okay. So I want to introduce you to our sponsor. This is the Mirage Advisory Boys.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you.
I'm their sponsor, no, I'm their
Yes, they are. She's been supporting us from day one. She's like really a day one listener. Okay, cool. You're the perfect person because you're literally doing a live review of the match of SPW literally. Okay, so we were talking about Ricky Malik's open challenge, and right after that we had the Midnight Bastards versus Jack and Cheese. How do you feel about Midnight Bastards? Let's not talk about the ending, but how do you feel about Midnight Bastards as a team?
They really damn busted lah.
Yeah.
Like, I think they really live up to their name of they're completely annoying and you just want to slap them.
Yeah.
And I thought CK Min had a slappable face. Bryson also got slappable face. You can slap 2 hands, slap both of them.
Okay. And the match was crazy. It was a street fight, right?
It was all over. They were everywhere. There was a kid who was in front of us who gave a chop to a Mason, and it was that chop was very good. So SPW Grapplemax, please sign up that kid because the kid was awesome.
SPW Academy is really going strong.
Yes.
They look at the youth
They
talent.
start young, all the little kids starting off today.
Also, okay, so the funny thing about the whole match was after BJJ kind of got suplexed on the stage, he was gone for a long time. There was a lot of beer trying to help him come back. How do you feel about that Jack and Cheese team?
Oh, I think the Jack and Cheese team are doing really well. They're very cute together. I think it really they complement each other. So it's been working really well. So yeah, Cheese is also he's super funny. He's flying high. You see Cheese flying everywhere. It's paying cheese tags everywhere. So
Awesome. Okay, so as part of our Patreon, you are very heavily involved in the Singapore Wrestler Top 20 rankings.
Yes.
And I can't wait to hear your gradings. But can you give a bit of a teaser off the top of your head? Who were your MVPs of the night?
It's got to be the main event, right? I think those two guys proved why they're in the PWI list for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, it was an amazing match, and I didn't think that I would leave this show feeling sad for Aiden Rex.
Yeah.
But here we are. I'm sad that Aiden Rex lost the championship.
Yeah, it's really crazy because we've seen him, his growth, and he's done a great job as a champion. But let's talk about the last part, man. Like, do we just see a new faction form in SPW?
Yeah. Like 2 new factions. There's a faction with Midnight. I mean, of course it was the Midnight Bastards who came out lah. So referee's distracting me. But of course it was the Midnight Bastards who came out because they were so annoying, and then of course they had to add on to their annoyingness.
Yeah.
But then the horrors coming out to save them was like so cute.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so very much. It's apparently I think they really want some attention.
The referee, man, he kicked the guy out.
Do you guys want to try our luck and get referee Ryan to come to because he is our MVP of the match. Yeah, you all can kind of stay around. Mr. Referee Ryan, sir.
This is a surprise.
Yeah, are you feeling okay, Mo? You had a very intense fight just now.
My back is pain.
Okay.
Pain. Yeah, but I think I should be fine.
Okay,
Should be
cool.
fine.
So tell us about this situation that you're having with the H-Lord because CKV and H-Lord, they were doing very underhanded tactics and they were trying to push you, and finally you kind of lost it and beat up. Had a very awesome fight with H-Lord. So how are you feeling, man? What's the situation with you and Bryson Blade?
Actually, this situation actually started, not wrong, actually, 2 years ago, actually.
Okay.
It's actually started from him and CKV versus Alexis Lee and Kelly Kimberly.
Ah, I see.
I think that's where the fire started.
Got you.
And it's slowly built all the way until today.
Okay, so it's clearly now he has a personal vendetta against you. He doesn't like you. Okay, so I think you really have a lot of enemies everywhere. Yeah. But anyway, sorry, I was just trying to be distracted a bit. But I wanted to ask you. So now you have, like you're in the crosshairs of Bryson Blade.
Yeah.
Do you foresee a match in the future between you? Are you stepping in the ring again, bro?
What do you think? Maybe one day Bryson Blade, you'll get these hands.
I'm so happy, to see you perform, and I'm so happy, you're playing. You're one of the most well-cheered people in SPW. So, congrats to you, and hope to see you in the ring soon.
Hopefully, see you soon.
All right, awesome. Okay, cool. So we're gonna move on. Please rest, sir. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to you guys. So we just want to talk about 2 more matches, right? So just now we were mentioning CKV, H-Lord versus I believe. Let me pull out my notes. It's Black Arrow and Mighty, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to get your first-hand experience because you guys never watched SPW before. What's your thoughts on Black Arrow, the Singapore champion, and as well Mighty, the big dancing guy?
Wow. You really gotta say that, to be honest, right, it reminds me of watching the old WWF, if I'm very, very honest, man. Not because of, how they look, but really the entire performance was amazing,
The vibe.
Yeah, the vibe was there, and it reminds you back when you're watching seeing Viscera, you think? Viscera, yeah. Big Daddy V,
I mean, most of touching back on that fight itself, right, and the other fights. Some of the other wrestlers, they do give us hints here and there of who they kind of maybe got an inspiration from. I would say
who they remind you of.
Yeah, who they remind us of.
I
see. A lot of them are I would say back in WWF. A lot of the wrestlers, I think they give when I sit down and watch they give me an idea of WWF wrestlers here and there.
Okay. Clearly the referee's already taking attention. Alright, take photo. Okay, you come after this. After this, you join us. Okay, we'll keep it going. Okay, he's here. He's coming. Okay, referee, sorry. Nice to meet you, sir. Bro, we were just talking. Okay.
Why? Because I'm Malay.
Yes, because you Malay. This is a Malay crew right here. Okay. So right now the situation is this is our new sponsors for the podcast, Biraj Advisory. This is their first time coming and watch the SPW show. Local wrestling, never watched before the entire opinion.
You've seen it on TikTok all, but then never get a chance to come.
Yeah. Cool. So one of the things I want to talk about was they say that this reminds them of watching WWE. Some of the wrestlers have a lot of influences from past Attitude Era wrestlers. If you can kind of sell the reason why somebody should go watch an SPW show, especially for Let's fans, people who like wrestling but they never knew that there was local wrestling, what would you say to them?
One thing for sure, you gotta expect the unexpected, and once you see the show, everything about that, it's something that you don't actually see before. You always see on the TV, everything about that, but you don't really see live as a person. So it's so much more different. You see, WWE SmackDown came down to Singapore or whatnot, or WWE entire came down to Singapore, but that is more high level. But as a local scene, you can see the much more difference, the local chants and
Local chance.
that's the more important thing. Like we mix around everything about that.
Awesome. I totally agree with you. I mean, I came to watch WWE live when it came to Singapore, right? But the atmosphere is completely different. I mean, having the local scene about it and the local chants, you know, you just feel like you belong there also. It's such a big difference, you know. It's such a big difference.
You don't hear that. You don't hear Refi Kayu in WWE lah. You don't hear that. Refi Buta, Kasut Baru or whatever shit it is.
Bro, how many years have you been hearing this Refi Kayu chants, man?
Okay lah. To be honest, ever since I joined this SPW is 12 years lah.
Wow.
So 12 years, yeah. I've been hearing a lot. Screw me, FU, referee lah, referee kayu lah, all the censored words lah.
Okay.
But cannot say lah.
Understand.
Podcast halal lah.
Yes, podcast. We
podcast
try.
halal.
Technically a halal. We try.
Okay.
Last question. Yes. You are an OG. We also saw some legends in the ring in SEMA and Kaz Hayashi. For those who didn't know the history of Kaz Hayashi, because he kind of announced that he's going to retire in July, can you give us some context on how big of a deal he is in Japan and all around the world?
He's one of the legends, or should I say, pioneers that actually step up into the Japanese world, in the Japanese wrestling world. Hardstyle is also one of them, everything. He's not the main one, but he's actually one of the few guys that actually bring up the wrestling industry in Japan, everything. So he bring up towards the Asia, then from Asia to Southeast Asia. So technically he's more towards I don't think Americans or whatnot will recognize him much, but more towards the Asian industry and the hardstyle way of wrestling. So I would definitely say he's one of the person that actually bring hardstyle into life, into Asian industries.
I see.
Yeah. So easy we said legend. Yeah.
But legends never die.
Legends never die. That one song, right?
Just like he's retiring. It's a bit sad that our first show is his retiring show. Yeah, so it's a bit sad.
I see.
It'd be nice to see him again.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's something different, everything about that. So we will definitely. It will be the last one, so you guys are wonderful to actually see him wrestle, everything about that. So
Nice.
don't forget that this is not his last one. I mean, from YouTube you guys can see again. So definitely won't be his last one in the ring. Definitely. I believe so.
Alright, last question. So whatever just happened, Melayu always got to tarik chan, you know. Always got to find one more. Okay, last question. Okay. We ended up with a 6-man showdown, you know, between the Horrors, Aiden Rez, and Midnight Buses, and Statement. You know, you as the OG, you have seen Statement win all his 5 championships, right?
Yeah.
This Statement with affection, what's gonna happen to SPW, man?
Wow, what happened? Oh, okay, for me, I would simply say explosive.
Nice.
So the word explosive, taking your own terms, enjoy the SPW events, everything about that. So definitely, this is a beginning, the beginning of something new and of a new era, I would say so.
So what it means is you guys should catch their next show, you know. If it's gonna be this big, I think he said it himself, it's gonna be explosive. Yeah. So come catch the next show. If you have not experienced SPW, I say go for it. You know, take the chance.
Awesome. Okay, so you heard it from our sponsor, you heard it from Referee Sodic, you heard it from Kick to the Gut. So check out SPW's Take Show. This is literally our review. So guys,
I think Fire is something that he wants to do.
Wait. Yeah! Yo guys, this is Foreign in the building from Kick to the Gut, and we are here live, recorded, on the Grapplemax studios, and we are here for the first time ever with Aussie!
Oi!
Alright, nice. Okay, this is really incredible because we've been doing this podcast for 7 seasons, and we've never actually had Aussie on the show. So, can you guys please reintroduce yourself to our listeners?
Glad to be here. I'm one half of Aussie, Sean Pang,
and I'm YC. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having me here on your show. So, as we are recording this, we are a week away from Grapplemax Fight Club, and let's get all the trivialities out of the way, formalities out of the way. I know the first thing you guys want to do is pick a bone with my partner, Mr. Young, and he chose a very smart time to not be available. Shout out to him, by the way. But I know if he was here, it would have been a very spicy situation. But if you want to, can you want to do a clear the air and have a message to Mr. Young?
Oddly tactical you choose now of all times to make a disappearance, but definitely, I guess what's the initial issue again? What the fact that you see two Chinese white kids and be like, hey, how are they tight with Aussie, right? Like, is that the case, YC?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the biggest issue. But look, I understand that there's a lot of questions around, why are these two Chinese kids calling themselves Aussies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look, number one, we have never said that we are Australian, right? I think that's the most important.
Yeah, let's
thing.
clarify that.
We have never said that we're Australian, right? Like, like when we first debuted at the previous Fight Club, actually, there was a little bit of backstory of how Sean and I met, and actually that revolves around Australia, right? So a bit of backstory for both of us. We both did indeed actually study in Australia. We both have an appreciation for Australian wrestling. We both have trained in Australia, and we actually met at in Melbourne at New Japan's Melbourne show during the meet and greet queue, right? So there was a VIP meet and greet queue for the New Japan show in Melbourne Southern Showdown in 2019, right? So it was raining very heavily, waiting outside the building, right? And I was wearing this brown Zara jacket, right? You might have seen it in our matches, right?
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
Right. So suddenly this guy next to me just taps me on the shoulder. Hey, bro, nice jacket. Yeah, I look up. I was like, hey, thanks. It was the same brown jacket, right? But the conversation kind of ended there.
I see.
So after that, we continued with our lives, and half a year later, back in Singapore and Grapplemax, I'm lacing up my boots after starting training. I saw this tall guy come in, very familiar. I'm like, were you from Melbourne?
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this is like a bit of serendipity, in a way, right? So when you guys met and tapped the shoulder, did that whole compliment thing, do you guys know both of you were from Singapore?
No.
No.
That was literally the whole conversation.
I was just happy there's another Asian guy in the queue.
That is true too.
Okay. This is really cool. So you're saying that you guys met literally out of nowhere in the middle of Melbourne, I'm assuming, and for a wrestling show, and then you all went your separate ways, and somehow you are back in Singapore, you all reconnected.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
That's how it happened.
That is some Australian magic going on here, right?
I mean, definitely to anyone else's eyes, they like to tie it to like, hey, Aussie, it's got to do with nationality. Not really. Okay, sometimes. Especially when looking at the tag team scene in Singapore, or even the region, so we really want like a solid tag team to represent us and representing Grapplemax and showing to everyone else that who we are and what we can be. Sometimes it's magic, sometimes it's fate, sometimes it's simply friendship. Isn't that right?
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, we hear what Singaporeans think of. What Mr. Young thinks of you calling yourself Aussie. But what about the Australians or Australian friends that you might know, people in Australia? What do they feel about you calling yourself Aussie?
Well, we do have some questions that do come to us. But I think one thing that we never shy away from is that what we want to do when we at least bring on the Aussie name is to represent kind of the whole vibe of Australia, right? Everyone's very chill, very fun-loving.
Gotcha.
Here to have a good time, and that's really what we want to embrace, as like kind of a tribute and homage to how Australia has been a very big part of our personal lives and wrestling lives.
Gotcha. Okay, the foreign is putting on his a businessman cap. What I was thinking. Australian High Commission based in Singapore, or the Australian Embassy in Singapore. See, this is the perfect example of Singapore Australia bilateral relations. You guys should be ambassadors of Australia to Singapore and vice versa. I'm just saying. Gotta make connections happen, man.
You should be around here when I believe we went to Perth to do like a show, like 2 matches at that one time. I think they find us kind of endearing, even though we come on in like 2 Chinese kids just bursting on in, chanting Aussie chants along with the crowd.
I see.
It's great to see so many friends there, and we want to take that culture back with us to perform here as well.
Gotcha. Will it be hilarious if you guys, are as a team calling yourself Aussie, and actually doing a circuit of matches like in Australia? How will that be like?
I think that'll be very interesting depending on how the crowd receives us.
Yeah.
I think we were quite fortunate that our last round in Australia, we were very well received by the Australian crowd.
Nice.
I think that's very fortunate. But of course, if we travel the rest of Australia, you might get a different reaction.
You can kind of play to the reactions of the crowd, right? Whether you want to lean on it or play the antagonist.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, but maybe a bit off-brand, but a bit challenging, but we'll see.
Okay. Okay. Well, before we deep dive all the way to Fight Club and what's happening next week, let's take things back, okay? Because like we ask all our guests, whether it's wrestlers, fans, listeners, whatever it is, whoever that's on our show, right, to tell them a bit about their wrestling fandom, their background, what got them into wrestling. So you can start if either one of you. Just tell me two things, like what was your first wrestling memory, and who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Ooh, wanna take this one?
Yeah, sure. So my first wrestling memory was actually the video game. So one day my uncle came home with PS2. Somehow there was this guy, Brock Lesnar, on this cover of the game. Oh, Here Comes the Pain.
Gotcha.
Right, so
okay.
my first entry into wrestling was the video game. Like, being able to see this like masked wrestler Rey Mysterio, doing some crazy moves, and you just smash some buttons.
Yeah.
You ride a helicopter, you just drive.
Oh my God, New York,
drag
Madison Square Garden, following it.
Wow.
Drag the person on the bike, around. Like, there was some crazy, intense stuff to me, and I was like, oh, this is quite cool. So that's my first entry into wrestling, and then I went to school like next day, talked to my friends about it. Hey, they also watch wrestling, and that's how it kind of conversation kind of started.
Okay.
Into it.
Be honest now, right? Like the cover was Brock Lesnar, but like below the cover it was Tori Wilson. So was Tori Wilson also part of the attraction? It was for me, but yeah.
For me, it was just Here Comes the Pain. I love this game. Button mashing. As a kid, like 12-year-old kid, just spam.
That's beautiful and very innocent as well.
Yeah.
What about you, Sean?
For me, I'm actually a very late bloomer when it comes to wrestling. So maybe I did see the occasional Rey Mysterio clips on YouTube when I was younger, but I didn't think too much of it. At most, it's like, oh, cool, that's great. But then I got into it, and the whole storytelling aspect of it when I was in NS, where one of my friends was showing me a video clip of NXT TakeOver, Shinsuke Nakamura debut against Sami Zayn.
Wow, okay.
And that match blew my mind, and I was quite hooked upon that. And immediately after, the whole rise of New Japan happened with Chris Jericho performing with Kenny Omega and everything, and I was hooked from that point onwards. Yeah.
It's very interesting because basically Nakamura and Sami Zayn was an awesome NXT TakeOver Dallas match, right?
Yes.
But as a wrestling fan, you can appreciate that. But if you came into it with fresh eyes, not knowing much about wrestling, what was it about that hooked you?
So that's the thing with fresh eyes, right? I come about it, and immediately the atmosphere, you could see everyone. The crowd was absolutely hot with Sami Zayn from the start of the entrance, with the singing along with the tunes, and Nakamura, a high-profile guy from New Japan, coming on. And I didn't know. Shucks, I didn't know anything about the both of them, but they put off such an awesome match with the unique storytelling aspects as well. Sure, moves are great, but the two of them, it's not like they are doing too much high flying stuff. I just got really invested in it, and that's the moment when I realized, oh wow, okay, wrestling is not just moves.
Okay,
it's more than it is.
Really cool, because I think that's also the first time a lot of people was introduced to Nakamura, and he had that mystique, right? That first entrance. I recall everyone, their mind was blown.
And he got the sick theme music as well.
The theme music as well. Very funnily, you mentioned Chris Jericho, right? This is back to YC. The first time I saw you in the ring, I'm pretty sure if you guys heard our reviews, we were like, this guy looked like Lionheart Chris Jericho a bit, with the hair and all that. So I'm just curious, was that unconsciously a thing that you suddenly realized there was this similarity, or you try to pattern yourself in a way?
It wasn't something that I actually noticed until you guys mentioned it. Because when I started watching wrestling, Jericho had the short hair, the one where I think he got fired after he wrestled John Cena or something.
Oh,
so it was the short hair, wasn't really Lionheart. I had to at that point, when I was watching wrestling, I had to watch back a bit, and right, that's true. There's a bit of similarities there, but no, it's kind of my own thing. Stand out a little bit more compared to other people.
It's very interesting because in the early 2000s, all the main eventers had long hair. You got Triple H, you got Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, and then we went through a period when John Cena was on top, where everyone had the buzz cut, everyone had the bow tie hair.
It's a lot less about wrestling than you think. Maybe this boy that just doesn't want to cut his hair.
Yeah. We are looking too deep. We are analyzing, over-analyzing it. Yeah, so very interesting. Just going back to your fandom or the rise of New Japan. It's a very interesting thing that you said there, because of course New Japan's rise in the late 2010s gave birth to Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, the whole Bullet Club. It was a whole thing, right? But also another very interesting thing is that now Grapplemax is affiliated with New Japan. So how did that interest in New Japan led you guys to maybe seek out a wrestling promotion in Singapore? Did you kind of make this connection that, hey, this Grapplemax thing feels like they are kind of very influenced by Japanese style wrestling?
I gotta say, I'm probably am not the best person to talk to about this, but definitely sometimes you're in the right place at the right time. You know a few people, you nudge a few shoulders, you shake a few hands, and you pretty much be respectful to everyone you meet. Who knows, sometimes the stars do align for all of us, and hopefully we can show everyone like in the region that Grapplemax is the place to be, you know, and that hopefully as well we get to learn more things from the New Japan folks when those initiatives do come to our doorstep. So yeah,
Very cool, very cool. And also like you guys talk about like your detour, you know, studying in Australia, I believe, right, and then meeting each other there. What made you guys seek out wrestling, like even the indie shows over there? You know, some people like they like wrestling, but they will only watch WWE. They watch the main show. So what kept you guys so interested in the whole art form that you guys want to seek it out on the independent level?
Okay, because mine started off with a quite interesting journey on this part, right? So I started studying in Australia about 2016, but that's kind of when I was falling off from my interest in wrestling. Right, like WWE was getting a bit stale. My friends were introducing me to New Japan, so I watched some clips here and there. Like, okay, that's alright. But suddenly on Twitter one day I saw Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore coming to Melbourne, 2016. Oh, okay, interesting.
Okay.
You know, on the poster got like Carlito, you know, got MVP. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well-known names.
Well-known names, right? Yeah. So I was like, right, maybe I'll go and check it out. At the same time, turns out that there were Australian wrestling there as well, right? It wasn't just, you know, the high-profile names. Like, and that's where I was introduced into Australian wrestling. I was like, all right, this guy, Adam Brooks, this guy is great. Right, Sid Barker, this guy is great. Whoa, how have I not known that there is wrestling outside of the US? that to me was like kind of the moment.
Okay, gotcha.
That is opened up my eyes to Australian wrestling. So ever since then, I started to Instagram, you know, who are these wrestlers, you know, where are they wrestling, and just follow, and then this kind of blew up from there. And how it turned into, you know, seeking out the wrestling, like actually trying. For me, it was actually quite a specific wrestler that kind of, I guess, inspired me to do it.
Okay.
For those who watch New Japan, is Robbie Eagles.
Yes, Robbie Eagles.
Robbie
Yes,
Eagles.
awesome.
He is kind of like my biggest inspiration because every time I watch him wrestle, right, he's always, you know, he engages the crowd a lot, right? He hooks you in. Like, there might be times where, you know, maybe he doesn't win the big matches, but you always support him, right? You always find a way to want to cheer him on. And I think that to me was kind of like the moment. It's like, oh man, this guy like has suspended my belief for that, you know, 15, 20 minutes, right? And as a whole, right, that whole wrestling show, I just forgot about all my problems for like the 2-hour show. And to me, that's a realization that, all right, maybe wrestling is something that, you know, can help people escape from, you know, maybe some worries for an hour or two. And that to me was quite a big moment. And I think that then just so happened at the time, that same year, my friend actually sent me, he's like, hey, I'm going for this trial at Grapplemax. And then he sent me like this clip of him doing some small sequence after the show, after the training. Like, hey, that's quite cool. Like, I'll come and try it out when I come to Singapore. Came out for the tryout. That was it.
Did your friend stay? Or?
No. I did.
It's always the friend that introduced you is the one that didn't stay, and like you're the one that end up going all the way, right? Yeah, very interesting. What about you?
Man, I'm sure you know. You would recommend anyone who hasn't watched wrestling live to like go and see a live show, right? It's a whole different vibe, right?
Yes, correct.
So it was a funny story. It's like me, the most bespectacled, like studious person, like saw like a flyer for like, hey, you know, tickets $15 to like a local wrestling show. I brought my friend from like China along to go and watch. We both are the only Asians in that crowd. Everyone there were just like families that like kids were looking up to the lucha wrestlers like with awe, and the parents were just there just drinking away. And like the first like I think it was an introductory match. The champion came on in with the belt. I see two women at the front just chanting out, "You have herpes."
What?
You have. I'm hooked, man. I realized, hey, wrestling, it's not just like storytelling or moves or anything else. In Australia, it's a family activity.
Yeah.
And it's such an odd and crazy vibe just to be there. And to see a 6-year-old joining in with these like women chanting, "You have herpes" in a little kid voice.
No context of what's happening.
No one can ever take that away from you. And
amazing.
That's amazing, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, and what about your Grapplemax story? Like, how did you find out about Grapplemax?
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? Like, so I did spend a few months in Australia training for a bit, and I came on back to Singapore for like holiday purposes. I was like, okay, cool. Who's out there? Oh, cool. SPW, that's Grapplemax. Great. Let me send out an email. Okay, dear so and so forth. I am looking for training. Send out to SPW, send out to Grapplemax, and Grapplemax got back to me first. So yeah.
Wow, it was literally
literally just
like
that.
it's like a free signing, right? Like free agent, whoever wanted you first got you first.
I mean, they were hospitable, and I had a great time. So yeah.
Okay,
Can confirm.
very interesting, very interesting. Okay, so our timelines kind of like didn't overlap because there was a moment when we started a podcast and like shout out to Greg, shout out to Lady Killer. They somehow convinced me to dry run and do like a debut match, right? Which I kind of did, and that was in early 2019. But I heard both of you kind of only joined fully like all in like at the end of no pun intended at the end of 2019. So I've never actually seen you guys or trained with you guys at that point in time. 2019, where were you guys in your life? Like you all just finished studying? Yeah, what was the situation at that point in time for both of you?
Yeah, so 2019 for me, I was just finishing up my undergrad, still in Australia. But at that time, I just went for a tryout at UPW, United Pro Wrestling in Sunshine Coast.
Gotcha.
So that was like towards the end of 2019. But after that was when I kind of started my masters, halfway through the year lah. So 2019 came back to Singapore. Did my training with Grapplemax and fortunately be able to debut at Chingay in 2020.
Gotcha.
Then the world shut down.
Wow. Okay, so the timing of it though, right? Yeah. What about you, Sean?
But the timing was kind of interesting, right? Like back then, I was still training a few months in with the Australian promotion. I was down. I met YC then for like the first time. We trained together. We did a great one together. He debuted, and eventually both of us got to go back to Australia for reasons and stuff. Then boom, COVID happened. A few months later, we are back together. Hey, wait a minute, you're back too.
Nice. Okay.
And it was those few months where, remember back then for physical training, you're not supposed to touch anyone. You can only like work on yourself.
Gotcha.
It was just me and YC for those like, I think close to a year or many months. Like it was at least a year.
Just both
right?
of you guys training.
Just like doing statics, wearing the mask on, like going about the ring through the kick-up program, barely touching each other.
Shout out
it
to
was,
kick-up, man.
Yeah, it was. We were so fit.
They were so fit.
We were so fit.
So fit. Okay. That's
A little demoralizing. We can't touch and wrestle as usual, but we did work hard and
like crazy. It worked out, right?
Yeah.
So you guys, when the lockdown happened, you guys were stuck in Australia, or you guys already were back in Singapore and you just decided to stay in Singapore?
I came back to Singapore. I think it just kind of made more sense. Like if my uni is closing down and everything's online, maybe it would be a bit safer. If anything happened, I would be in Singapore home. So that was what happened.
Did it delay your graduation in any way?
No, I didn't. So most of my masters was online. So
okay, that was
Zoom University.
Nice, awesome. What about you, Sean?
And for me, I guess it's like, I was in a depression, man. I was it's cooped on indoors. You're only allowed like 1 hour out, like to exercise any point of time. And they did lift it for me to like fly on out, and they closed it back in when the infection numbers start to rise. So I got out just in time. Actually, otherwise
you got out from Australia?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna be a few more months of scary lockdowns.
And were you at that point in time finishing out your studies still?
Oh, I was in the middle of my honors, but then. Imagine being like locked on in. You only have Zoom calls and like 2 other roommates to talk to. And I just got off a bad breakup back then also, so it's double whammy. Oh, the depression, all that.
That sucks, man.
Yeah. So coming on back, hey, look, there's YC, there's wrestling. I'm feeling a lot better lately.
Gotcha. Okay, look at you, both smart people. You got like one guy doing honors, one guy doing masters, and they're wrestling. So I mean, just saying that this is a pretty cool way of spending your time. Talk to me about that, right? So like a lot of people in Grapplemax, the wrestlers in Singapore in general, they do wrestling. They do wrestling on the side, right?
Yep.
And they have a lot like full-time jobs and stuff like that. So like I'm assuming like you guys are just coming out of like your school. You guys have like your degrees. You guys have all your certs. And like, okay, it's in the real world right now. So like, how do you guys kind of like figure that part out while still keeping the wrestling passion going as well?
Can I take this? Because honestly, right?
Yeah.
We are pretty much living like the Aussie wrestling culture right now. Like we do have our day jobs, let's be real. Like, we do have 9 to 5 and everything, but it's just like the Australian suburban areas. Like if you're like an active wrestler, you're always working like 9 to 5 for your Monday to Friday. During the weekends, you're out and about, you're wrestling in a random match all the way like 3 hours drive away and whatnot. And it's back to square one with the whole work day thing all over again. Like, kicking on back, like after work, you eat, you drink a Pepsi Max, have a HSP at the side as well. You know,
Halal snack
they're
pack
just
for
you
the
know
win.
you don't have to be like even for them like there's a large range of wrestlers. You know, some are super fit and really into it. Some of them they treat it as it should be, which is like a very serious hobby, right?
yeah.
Like you know you can see like large. I think one of my favorite wrestlers, Michael Weaver. Large monster that guy is, and he's wrestling at that size and still being able to pull off amazing matches from my end. So you can see, I think it's also brings about to a part of Grapplemax, right? Like anyone can come on in and wrestle, you know, and like you know. Doors open. We do not need to go back to the culture of like, you know, hey, you know, it's sort of like a boys club type of thing. So that's what really attracted both YC and I, that, hey, you know, Grapplemax is a place where we can meet all sorts of people, all sorts of wrestlers, and we can see all their talents live here.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last question about the Australian scene, right? Because you said 2016 was when you guys kind of like discovered, you know, indie wrestling in Australia. 2016, 2017 was a time where a lot of the wrestlers there are now really huge stars, right? Rhea Ripley was wrestling there, Indy Hartwell. So did you see anyone who was like in the infancy of their career over there at that point in time?
Man. So I saw now known as Grayson Waller, previously known as Maddie Warburg. I think I saw him in early or late 2018. Super charismatic. He's pretty much the exact same guy. Such an ass.
Yeah, in Melbourne as well.
As in Brisbane when I
Brisbane,
saw him. Yeah,
okay.
Same guy.
Same guy, nice.
Love him, but you just love to hate him, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, also seen Bronson Reed, formerly known as Jonah Rock.
Wow, in Australia.
In Australia as well. Well, these guys are amazing.
And back to the topic of like culture, right? We see like Bronson Reed and what is it, Gino Gambino? He did a stint with New Japan as well, and you see them in their day jobs. You know, some of them are like fitness coaches, some of them are working like the MRT lines then and everything, and you know on the weekends they wrestle. They changed to a whole new different persona.
And these were people who like you said, like end up becoming WWE superstars. But at that point in time, like they were doing that whole culture of working and then wrestling. Pretty cool. Okay, so now let's tie it back to Grapplemax, right? And you guys were wrestling separately. You guys are friends at this point in time. Tell me about the idea of making you guys a tag team.
Wow, this is quite funny because the first time that we actually tagged together was the previous Fight Club. I think 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah. So we were actually put together against Hotshot and Greg at that time.
Okay, so it was a random pairing that you guys put together.
Yeah, was this the one? Was it one off? I don't know if it was supposed to be an ongoing thing, but we were put together. And somehow it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I still remember then. I guess it sort of like clicked for the two of us because we've had such overlapping paths like in our individual selves. It's almost natural, and it didn't really come to us until some folks suggested it that we should be a tag team as well. And afterwards we saw like it's a great partnership. We got hooked together as well, and I still remember back then during our debut for that Fight Club 3. It was at projector location, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that was such a magical night, I think. You weren't there, I think Mr. Young was there for sure.
I recall.
Yes. So just like this coming Fight Club as well, you know, get your ticket soon.
Hopefully you can get Mr. Young there so you guys say hi to him in person. Okay, very cool. So like now you guys were put together in a team and you guys kind of have to figure out like your chemistry and stuff like that. So who do you guys take inspiration from or like studied per se when it comes to tag team wrestling?
Tag team wrestling specifically, for me, none so much specific for tag team, but more individual wise, finding my individual character and then seeing how it can mesh with Sean's. So for me, I took a lot of inspiration from Robbie Eagles, right? Same thing, you know, a lot of fire, a lot of drive, you know, getting an audience behind you, getting that audience connection. To me, that was very important. And also, eventually, you know, Robbie Eagles did become tag team partners with like Taiji Ishimori, now with
New Japan, right?
New Japan, yeah, Fujita. So I think eventually when he started becoming more active in the tag team scene, that's when I also started observing how his tag team chemistry was with different partners and see what I can learn from it.
Okay, cool. What about you, Sean?
Definitely. I'm a tall, lanky boy. You see, in wrestling, there's only so many tall, lanky boys out there. I mean, the first thing we think of is Chris Brooks, right? But Chris Brooks, if you notice his wrestling, he doesn't wrestle like a tall, lanky person. He does like cutters and everything, and it's real insane. But I'll try and seek like other pieces of information. inspiration. Like one of my favorites from the Sami Zayn and Nakamura match. I think Sami Zayn's a fantastic wrestler. I also do seek inspirations from like Evo from New Japan, like as a brawler. Cesaro, he's such a fantastic worker with his strength and everything. And Miyu Watanabe from TJPW, who's very friendly, smiley, like strong woman herself.
Tokyo Joshi?
Yeah, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. You know when you say tall, lanky guy, right? You know who comes to my mind? People don't think about him as a tall, lanky guy, but he is. Randy Orton. Randy Orton is tall and lanky, if you think about it. Especially when he started off his career, he didn't have that muscle.
I guess so, yeah. But after a while, he's got that muscle to pat himself up and everything.
Yes,
so.
correct. So it's very interesting that you said that, because we always think of wrestlers of a certain look, of a certain size, but then there are wrestlers who kind of like own that unique size about them, and it becomes all they think about, right? Whether you're like a Spike Dudley, whether you're Bronson Reed, whatnot, right? Okay, so now that you guys are a tag team, you guys are learning like different styles, your own influences. What are some of like your most memorable moments as a tag team in the last couple of years? Like some matches that you enjoy. Can I say one thing that I really love? I love your match with Bad Company, man. That was RIP, man. When I first saw that news,
That was a wake up call for us.
It was a wake up call.
Yeah. I think, but there's also, I think you guys stepped up. Like in that match, I saw a lot of like like a lot of like this inner fighting spirit that might not have been tested if you guys weren't put in the ring with such intimidating opponents. But yeah, tell me about that match and tell me about your other favorite moments as a team.
Yeah, I think that one was very memorable because right as the match started, when I got clocked from the back, I started bleeding. Unfortunately, my face hit the rope. So for most of the match, you can see, actually I'm bleeding. So that was very memorable in not the best way.
Damn. Okay.
But I think that match really kicked us into the next gear.
Yep.
Like it really showed us that we have ways to go as a tag team, and especially not even in Singapore but in Southeast Asia as well, because they are legends, right?
Yes.
And the fact that we're able to, I would like to say, hang with them. Like we didn't win, but we managed to hang with them. I think that to me it shows that we have something there. We just needed to pull it out from deep in ourselves.
Gotcha.
Sorry, we got our ass kicked. That match was very humbling for us. We think tag team wrestling in Southeast Asia. Who do we think of? Farhan, who do you think?
I mean, definitely Bad Company is one of them.
Bad Company one of them. Anyone else?
Well, I can say Aussie is definitely one of them for my side.
That sounds great. Anyone else?
Okay.
It's
I think. Well, I'm an OG guy.
Yeah.
So I watch wrestling from GST days. So I got a shout out to the OGs there, and of course, there you go. Somebody's raising his hand. But I think that's the thing, right? There's like tag team wrestling. It's still very niche in Southeast Asia.
Yes.
When I think of tag team wrestling, I haven't thought of a team that defines Southeast Asian wrestling. Right?
So for the two of us who were that was our third match together still, and we were thinking, hey, we are tag team with some form of consistency. Hey, we're getting there. We are just here, and Bad Company's all the way up there.
Gotcha.
We were we think back and we're like, you know what, we got to do better than this, man. This isn't us. And what do we know? Like earlier in the year, we actually went back to Bangkok to fight the Bad Company faction once more.
A
right?
rematch. You guys had a rematch. Okay.
Unfortunately, I think it's not the original two. It was Golem Thigh alongside with Earth. Yes. One of their...
It's not Peanuts, right? Peanuts.
No, not Peanuts, unfortunately.
another match.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
we did travel to Thailand and managed to get a win over them
Wow.
for once. So
Okay.
yeah, good on
Alright.
us.
Good job. Awesome.
Oh man, so it really feels like a put together be it story or a arc for us, because we really wanted to show them that we took the lessons that they gave us back then all the way from our third match to after so many matches onwards, we finally faced them, and our experience sort of proved them wrong. Hey, we're not just some weak folks that can just beat us down.
Gotcha. In terms of other matches that you guys like, who are some of your favorite opponents in Grapplemax as a tag team?
Oh, wow. As a tag team, okay, look, I don't like them. I think they are kind of the worst people. But Showtiming.
Showtiming, okay.
Yeah.
Showtiming.
Okay. You gotta pay some respects
Yeah.
to them in a way, right?
Yeah. I think our match at Settle Outside last year was very
Chaotic.
very chaotic.
Yes. Oh,
Very
yes.
chaotic.
Yes. Young was saying it was
Yeah.
crazy, and it wasn't announced that it was like a hardcore match or a street fight, right?
Well,
False count anyway.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
false
It's not
count.
false
Anyway.
anyway,
Okay.
yeah. But definitely, Showtime Inc. has shown that they are a solid faction and a force to be dealt with. And I gotta say, Julian, specifically Julian, he's very underrated.
Gotcha.
Like in a sense, he doesn't. It's not very showy to a lot of audience members,
Yes.
but there's a lot that he can do, and he can match up with a lot of fantastic wrestlers and put on great matches. So massive respect to Julian. Not a big fan, but respect. Where it's given.
I had this conversation with Young. I felt like if Showtime Inc. was the Four Horsemen, I felt like Julian's a bit like Barry Windham. I don't know how you guys know how Barry Windham wrestles. He's like the mechanic of the faction. Like he kind of gets things moving, keeps things moving, but not as appreciated as like the one that stands out more.
Yep.
You know, like
Exactly.
your Prabhus or
Yep.
whatnot. Very very cool that you guys say that. And okay, before we jump into the preview for Fight Club,
Yep.
I want to ask you guys, because you guys are the perfect people to ask this question, right? Grapplemax a few months back introduced and announced that there's gonna be a tag team tournament / championships being crowned, right? Dual Destinies, if I'm not wrong, at the end of June, right?
Yep.
So tell me how you guys felt like, wow, okay, finally they're gonna introduce tag team titles in this promotion.
I think, especially last year, it was. You can see that Grapplemax is growing.
Yep.
Right. We have many new tag teams forming up, and I think this was the right time to introduce the tag team titles and grow the tag team scene, not only in Singapore, but we want to be able to help as Grapplemax, grow the Southeast Asian tag team scene. Right. That's why we do have competitors from IPW coming down as well.
Gotcha.
So I think that's something that we are really looking forward to help not only boost the Grapplemax roster, but also to help Southeast Asia as a whole.
Okay.
I think it's also worth mentioning that YC and I, we do have a plan in the hopefully immediate future. We want to be on the PWI, man.
Okay.
We want to be on the PWI top tag teams out there.
Okay. Wow.
Very feasible, oddly feasible.
Yes.
You see, and to do that, we got to climb up. Okay, definitely, we got great competitors from IPW as well as Balianaki, Mace, Saruga coming on down for this tournament. For their prestige. To be the first holders of their belts.
That's gonna be a big deal as well. You guys gonna make history here in Singapore. At least if you guys go for
A
it.
lot of stress, knowing you only have that one shot, right, for that tournament. After that, it's busted. But
Well, while PWI 500 is an awesome dream and it's an awesome goal to work towards, I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty established in the Singapore Wrestler Top 20 here in the Kick to the Gut community.
least, yeah.
Yeah, because we've been having some gradings and people grading your matches, especially singles matches, because you guys were kind of separated for a while. And one thing I think one of our listeners were very interested in talking about was that little tiff that you guys had, at Amplify a while back. I know YC, you just came back, from your honeymoon. Congratulations, by the way. Congratulations. Must shake. Okay. So, so there was some rustiness and maybe there was some miscomm. You wanna address that, Sean?
Well, look, I'm just saying that because with the tag team tournament coming in, we gotta be up. We gotta up our game, right? You see, YC has done fantastic. He himself, he has been booked at APAC. He has been booked at MyPW as well. And like for me, I look on back and I'm like, I'm just Sean, right? I'm just not gonna lie, it sucks being second best. It's annoying. It's frustrating. And to me, this year, new year, new me, this Sean, is gonna get all the wins, get all the W's. I'll do whatever I can to get that match, get that win, for me, the tag team, and YC.
Awesome. Well, this is a great opportunity because segueing into Grapplemax Fight Club, you do have a singles match, right? That you're going for?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. One word before we start. We gotta give a shout out to our Kick to the Gut sponsors, the boys from Mirage Advisory. Their names is Daniel, Fyros, and Hadley. They actually went to their first ever local wrestling show for the first time this past week.
Oh.
So they actually said they wanted to go and watch Grapplemax Fight Club this
Ah.
weekend. So they kind of want to experience all the spectrums of local wrestling. So can I give a shout out to them? For those people and people everywhere who have never watched local wrestling, never watched Grapplemax wrestling, what can they expect? Why should they go watch a Grapplemax show?
Well, I guess first things first, for this coming Fight Club 4, it's one of a long-running series of intense battles on the mat. So mat wrestling itself definitely is quite unique on its own. If we take a look at ring wrestling, you're quite a distance away, you're in your seats. Mat wrestling, hey, the action is all happening right in front of you. And because of the lack of ropes, the lack of barriers, you can expect some shenanigans happening with fighting all about the venue. So it's great to have that up front in person. And alcohol late at night does help a little bit.
So it's gonna be a bit of a party, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a party, of course.
I also believe one of our resident members, DJ Jeff, is also going to be putting up some wrestling tunes all throughout the entire night as well. So it's going to be a fun party.
Awesome. So for our listeners right there, if you love wrestling and you want to support us, shout out to Miraj Advisory as well. Follow them on their Instagram because they're helping to keep all the bills open for us to do this full time. So shout out to them as well. Okay, so back to the show. So let's talk about the match card for Grapplemax Fight Club.
Yep.
Lovely.
I'm not sure whether you guys are aware of the order or the placement yet, or is that something going to be revealed?
Well, it just came out, yeah.
Okay, official. Okay, so let's kick off the first match that's on the card. I'm assuming it's going to be this grudge match, right?
Yep.
SPD versus Kelvin the Intern. My oh my. Speaking of Showtime Inc., how do you guys feel about this little, well, not really a little, is this huge implosion that's happening right now in Showtime and the excommunication of SPD? How do you guys feel about all of that?
Man, I think it's SPD. SPD has always stood out to me, right? I think he's fantastic. You can tell he is very experienced in the ring. Like his movements are very crisp.
Yep.
I think that's something that maybe Showtime Inc. as a whole couldn't appreciate, and maybe they felt like SPD is kind of taking that reign away from them.
I don't think so, YC. I think no. I think it's justifiable, right? Like it was, and hey, Showtime handed down instructions. SPD simply didn't listen, right? I mean, she only got what's coming to him. I mean, as much as I hate Showtime Inc., they do have a hierarchy and order and things in place, and they believe in the best efficient way forward. A business plan was conducted. SPD just broke it.
Logical?
Sean,
Logical.
well,
I mean, it does make sense, right? Like they have to get the wins for the faction as a whole and not just think about themselves, right? I mean, it's so rude if anyone just think about themselves like that within a group. Can you imagine? Yeah.
Very interesting, Sean. Okay. Well, we'll take your words at face value. Okay, but talk to us about Kelvin the Intern. Like this kid out of nowhere came in with abs blazing, and here we are. One of the most despicable young stars or young wrestlers in Grapplemax. Tell me about your thoughts about this fella.
I think Kelvin, when he first came in, very very quiet, very humble. Always wanting to learn from everyone. You can see him before and after training, still doing his own training in itself, right? I think that's very respectable. If you watch some of his older stuff on Instagram as well, he's always posting stuff, right? Stuff from his first few days when he couldn't do a straight front row, and recently he just posted, his front row is super straight now, right?
Nice.
You can tell that he's really very hardworking. He's really putting in the time and the effort to get better, which I think I really respect. It's not easy, especially coming in, fresh as a young boy, but I think Showtime Inc. has kind of poisoned him a little bit.
They poison everyone apparently.
Yeah, I think the longer he stays with them, don't get me wrong, his confidence off the charts. I think it's great. It really helped him with his confidence, but do the right thing, boy. Respect other people.
He gives a lot of ick vibes. My girlfriend was there at the last Amplify show, and she was like, "Oh man, I get this terrible feeling, when a fuckboy just walks on into to a bar and everything, and you're like, this person gives creeps vibes and whatnot, very full of himself,
Very interesting you say that, because when I met him, he came to Perth, Australia to watch Elimination Chamber. Nicest kid in the world, very respectful, and he was really cool and chill. But that was 3 months ago. This 3 months later, I don't recognize him right now. I mean, at least what I see in the ring and what I met in person.
Well, it's Showtime Inc.'s, maybe it's the influence getting to him. Maybe he realized he can do a lot better once tied to the group. Maybe he has to change things.
The last time I saw someone change their character attitude this fast was in NS when this very nerdy guy the whole gang bring them to Geylang and then come back. He changed his character completely, bro. So I'm just saying, man. I don't know what kind of initiation Showtime Inc. did.
Yep.
But that guy is definitely has been deflowered. Anyway, okay, so predictions, man. Who's gonna get the W in this match?
I like to say that Kelvin's overconfidence will get the best of him, and SPD will take the win.
Okay.
I'd say we can't discount SPD's, like, he has a championship match coming up against Hotshot, right?
Yes,
Like,
that's-
we cannot discount the fact that he has gotten to where he is. He's definitely gonna go and beat the shit out of such a twerp like Kelvin.
Okay.
However, I gotta say, if Kelvin does have help with Showtime Inc. at the side,
Okay.
tables may turn.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying.
Gotcha. I mean, either way, it's gonna be an ass whooping. But for whom? Well, we have to watch to find out, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Okay, the next match, guys. This is yours. This is your time to shine, Sean. First of all, why are you having a match with Mingray? What did Mingray ever do to you?
Look, it's a bit frustrating, but there was a bit of a tussle in the studio the other time. Okay, look, I don't get it. Like, why do people call me mean? Like, even for the past show as well. Okay, you saw me in action, YC, right? I'm just doing everything I could to get that W. Look, like, you gotta see. Let's say Inglorious as a faction, we lost to them like what? 2 times and one like sort of no result for the most recent one.
result, yeah.
Okay, look, it's a slightly net positive, right? I am trying to get everything possible in place for the both of us to win, and you know, some people just can't appreciate it. I'm bringing our tag team to the next level, and well, people like Mingray or like Divya, they call me mean and like saying that oh this you were like this before, Sean. No, okay. I'm just trying to make sure things go the way they are. I'm being efficient. I'm trying to be number 1 at Grapplemax. That's how I am.
Okay.
You see.
Okay, gotcha. So,
Yeah.
well, Mingray will have a second Divya. I think this will be, if those people are coming, they might not be aware of Divya. Can you tell us a bit more about her and like how will she back up Mingray during this match?
I mean, not much, right? She's just a ref, isn't it? Why is
Wait, no. She's more than just a ref, right? She's
Okay.
5 times, former 5 times Diva champion, right? She
What?
has a lot of experience, dude. More than us.
Yo, dude, you got checked
Wait,
or not?
wait. 5-time champion from where?
CWE.
CW.
Great Khali's promotion.
You didn't tell me this.
Alamak.
You-
Alamak.
Hey, look, it's fine.
Okay,
It's
anyway,
okay,
it's
fine.
all good. It's all good.
You'll be fine.
It's
You'll
just
be
a
fine.
man. Look, it's just
You'll be
a.
fine.
You know, okay. Never mind. We talk later.
Okay.
So
You'll be fine.
it's look, she's only at the side. In the end, I'm fighting the Mingray. What are you gonna do, lion? Huh? You're gonna rah me to death? Is it? No. Okay, I will show you the best of what Aussie can do,
Alright.
Mingray.
Well, YC, I'm sure you're gonna be, fair and down the middle.
Always.
Always at ringside.
Always.
Just ensuring there's no shenanigans happening, right?
yes,
So
yes.
it's all yours, Sean. This is your chance. So looking forward to it. So I'm assuming that your predictions is you're gonna get the W, yeah?
Yeah, of course. I mean, hey, we gotta give credit where credit's due. Mingray, she has grown so much as an individual. I'm sure all the way back then there was like she made her debut in one of those live stream shows. You did the charity live stream. Fighting Spirit, exactly.
yes.
You know, she's grown a lot. You know, from the great one she is back then to this new lion character of hers as well. She even got the win over, if I remember correctly, over Ships Ahoy at that time when she tagged with Prabhu. Okay, good on you, Mingray, but unfortunately, experience is on my side. I'm gonna get that pretty easy. So sorry about that, Mingray.
Awesome.
Just be careful. Just be careful.
Careful of what?
Just
Like-
be ready. Just be ready, alright?
Hey, trust me.
Okay.
You got this.
Yeah.
You got
Okay.
this.
Well, all the best for that match, and I'm very interested to see because Mingray is of course our female representation for this event, and those of you who are fans, please check this match out. Okay, so the next one, speaking of tag teams, we do have a tag team grudge match that's happening. One of my personal favorite tag teams, Big Dave and Ban Sacha versus, and I missed this coming together of a team from the last show, Midlife Goals. I hear they go by another name as well. You guys heard the chants from the last show?
Yeah.
So Farhan, are you on team midlife goals or team gout?
Got quite funny. I got that fucking funny. I'm not gonna admit, but but hey, you know what? If they want to insist on midlife goals, go for it. I think people will keep shouting gout. But tell us about this team because we'll talk about Big Dave and Ban Sacha, but tell us about these two, can I say young veterans or old youngsters? I don't know. How do you want to say it?
I mean, I think the team of Joseph and D is a very interesting one. D has a ton of experience, right? First pro wrestler from Malaysia.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's something that's not to be forgotten as well.
There is,
right? Even
yes.
though he did take a hiatus for a bit, but hey, look, he's back. He's better than ever, right? I think that's something that we can all look forward to. And Joseph is the man who has been improving so much, right? He did start a bit later than many of us on the roster, but he's putting in the time, putting in the effort, right? And he is becoming his own. He's coming to his own, right? And look out for that hit, man. Like, I don't want to be there.
He is finding his character. For
He
sure.
beat former Grapplemax openweight champion Big Dave. Like, no one has done that as of recently.
Yeah, that's actually pretty impressive.
That's honestly quite insane to me. Like, I hated that time, but I was in a singles match with him before. He took me out on that match. Caught me unawares. I was a bit off guard, but you gotta admit, with the both of them together, their cheeky antics, something that, will catch a lot of people off guard, including Big Dave and Ban Sancha.
Awesome. Okay, speaking of Ban Sacha, I missed the last show, but apparently somebody finally fell to Emperor Palpatine's mind tricks, Jedi mind tricks. So, tell us about that moment when Ban did the steel chair shot, heard around the world, man. I mean, heard around Singapore at least. What was that all about? How do you guys feel about that?
It's quite disappointing.
Okay.
Coming from Ban. We've seen him grow up from a young boy.
Yeah.
Training with us, and now he has gone to the dark side, pretty much. Of course, it does seem like there is some reservations or some doubt about like whether it was the right decision after he did do it. But the fact that that action was pulled off, I think that's something to reflect on, because that means deep down somewhere, Dave has got him in his grip.
Gotcha.
You see, that's the thing with their relationship, right? It's so painful to see like a tag team fragmented to this extent, this conflict between the other. Like, one is being such a mean individual to another person, to Ban Sancha. Ban Sancha just want to keep things clean and everything. Why can't they have such a great relationship like me and YC? I don't get it at all.
Okay.
Like, it's just frustrating to see, and it ruins the tag team synergy and effectiveness like that. What's wrong with them? Yeah.
Okay. But will you argue that now that Ban kind of has turned to the dark side, essentially they are now on the same page and they actually can be stronger than ever?
I guess, but in a way, it's also. Hey, you know what? You know what? You might be right. Who knows? They're on the same page. Yeah, they can be as great as ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no argument about that.
Between the two of them, which team do you think will get the W?
Oh man, this is not easy. No, it's not easy, because Big Dave, wealth of experience, one of, if not the best in Southeast Asia. Bringing up this new young boy on by his side and just give him directions. Like Big Dave by himself, I think he could do a lot of damage. And now with someone to give some direction to, I think that might be a bit more dangerous. But I do have to say, the mind game of Joseph beating Big Dave at the last the last match they had, I think it might play a factor into it. So I would say I'm gonna go with midlife goals.
You know what? I'm same on you. Right, midlife goals.
Wow.
But
Okay.
if Dave happens to come across a chair,
Oh yeah.
it swings the other way.
Oh yeah.
literally, I love that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
very cool. Very random question. If you had to fight one of the teams in the tag team tournament, who would you prefer to face?
Like between these two?
Between these two, yes.
Oh man. Oh, this is tough. Oh.
I mean, either way, it's gonna be a fight, right?
You know what? I'm gonna say Big Dave and Ben, only because we have beat Big Dave in a tag team match before.
Yeah, that was a long while back. But I'd say we take midlife goals a little for granted. And like I want to beat midlife goals, but not out of because we hate them or anything. They are really great individuals, the two of them. It's just that the tactics they could employ could definitely take us unawares. I mean, we have experience with Big Dave before, but those two, unpredictability is off the charts.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, like you guys said, this will be a very, very compelling tag team match. Especially you guys are a tag team. I'm pretty sure you guys will be keeping close eye on this match, right?
Very close.
Okay, so the second last match, we got a bit of a is it like a grudge match almost? A singles match between Lavin and Simons here. Just the past show and Amplify, they were a tag team.
Yep.
But now they're having a singles. How do you think this came about? What's going on here?
I'm not sure. Look, Simon, I understand that you're on a winning streak. You're frustrated. You remember that chase for the cruiserweight title, and how that fell short. I guess if you think about it, Simon's just a little frustrated. He has a thing going with his wins and win with definitely Lavin with the tag team over us. Okay, well, still frustrated at that, but hey, respect where respect's due. The two of them work pretty well together.
Yep.
And all it takes sometimes is just one disappointing loss to just feel incredibly frustrated. Maybe it's not just you. Maybe it's just some other factors. Maybe it's your other tag team partner as well. But I'll never do that to you, YC. Not ever. You can trust in me. I can trust in you just fine.
Okay, very interesting. Is this a case of two tag team partners needing to kind of get physical and fight it out, get it out of their system, or do you think this is really a permanent breakup?
No, as much as they did beat us, and I'm quite still a bit disappointed at that. I do want to see Lavin and Simon fight it out, but come back together again. I think they operated very well as a tag team.
Yeah.
Against us especially. But I think moving forward, having more tag teams in Grapplemax might not be a bad idea. And Lavin's ground game complements Simon's high flying game. I think it's something that you don't really see too often in Grapplemax.
It is a pretty cool combination, I say.
But here's the thing. It's Fight Club 4.
Yeah.
We are playing with mat wrestling.
Yeah.
Who has the advantage here?
Interesting way of putting it. There is no high place to fly from. I don't know.
Unless you find something there.
Poor Simon has to do a lot of recceing, right? For the venue itself, if you think about it. But for him, he's spending quite a good bit of time in Malaysia. He wouldn't have the time to go to that extent.
Okay.
I'd say Lavin has all the advantage in this match. Match gotta go towards him.
Yeah, and I consider Lavin a good friend of mine, and I am so happy that he's back from his injuries. Hopefully, he put all these injuries troubles behind him, and he can go full throttle in this match. In your opinion, you said Lavin has the experience, but will he get the victory?
With the overwhelming advantage of his submission-based wrestling, yeah, for sure. Unless Simon is able to somehow get the distance. He specializes in striking. He specializes in his high-flying moves. Do not allow Lavin to cover that distance, and hopefully, there wouldn't be any chance of Lavin getting the upper hand. But sorry, it's all got to go to Lavin for sure.
What about you, I see?
I'm gonna actually have to say Simon might pull out something we might not see from him before, right? I think Lavin, yes, his strength is in his ground game, in his submissions, but I think like what you said, if Simon does keep his distance, and Simon can get very strong on his strikes, and I think if that's something that can catch Lavin a bit off guard, I think Simon might pick up the victory there.
Okay.
Simon's adaptive. He knows how to adapt to what's going on. So
gotcha. I mean, if a guy is willing to travel every single day, from Malaysia to Singapore to train, I mean, you can't doubt his his passion, right?
Now you know why he's so angry.
Those jams are really. I also will be angry as well.
Causeway Jam coming up this coming June.
Correct. Okay, and speaking of Causeway Jam as well, okay, let's talk about the main event. This, I think, is probably the selling point of this Fight Club 4, right?
Yep.
We've been seeing, being hinted, there's teasers of this, and it's finally going to explode, right? It's going to be like, to me, this is the faction war of the year, right? Showtime Inc. and Inglorious. First of all, before we talk about that match, tell us personally, what's your histories with both factions? What's your thoughts about both of them?
Do you remember the time where we were like, we thought we were good with Julian, and hey, it's great to have him on our team as well, and he terribly backstabbed us. Moving on forward and joined Showtime Inc. And that wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun.
But we have to admit, this faction, while as dastardly as they are, as prick as they could be, they've got things fairly organized and they move pretty quick. And honestly, looking at Showtime Inc. With full force, even without SPD, Kelvin, Prabhu, Showtime, is, oh wait, no, Kelvin's not in this match, but he may show
Gotta
up.
watch out.
You gotta watch out for him as well. So
It is no holds bar anyway.
the total lineup, right? So that's the potential, right? The full force of them are all four. Only 3 of them are in the match, but who knows? Maybe Kelvin has rested up accordingly and may make a run-in for this no hope bars match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we'll never know. And Inglorious, it has always been those 3. There's no way they could possibly get that advantage at all, right?
Well, I'm just thinking, right? If Kelvin's gonna get himself involved, I'm pretty sure SPD might have some unfinished business as well. Could he possibly, kind of back up the boys from, Inglorious? I'm just saying.
Possible. I think, if especially with the history that SPD does have with Showtime Inc., it's not something to rule out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's your thoughts on the fact that we have kind of a couple of combinations, right, in terms of matchups, right? We have N-Boss Gregory, who is essentially one of the OGs fighting another OG in Showtime. We have a rising star in Prabhu, who also gave a great match to our champion, right? Our openweight champion, Hotshot. And then we have, like you said, Julian, underappreciated, but essentially a key cog in the Showtime Inc. Machine, fighting against Remus with all his passion, all his fire. So, how do you guys think in terms of the matchups? What kind of styles clash and all that kind of things can we expect?
I think it's going to be chaotic, right? We may not have the exact matchup that you said because low holds bar, no DQ, things are going to get messy.
Yep.
And I think for Showtime Inc., they are very used to operating as a team, right? Like you see, in almost all of their matches, all of the faction members are out to support each other, right? And that's something that it's quite interesting because for Inglorious, their faction mate trust the rest of the tag team to get things done. That's why they don't need to be there by ringside. I think that's something that's to observe. And the thing is, we've never seen. I don't think we've ever seen Inglorious full force together.
Yes.
We've seen them individually. We've seen them in different variations of tag team against us. But the fact that we have seen all 3 of them together now, I think that's something that Showtime needs to watch out for.
This is a bit of a call about Inglorious. If you're watching this, okay, you guys aren't good tag teams. I'm sorry, but you guys are fantastic individual performers. We see your Hotshot, we see N-Boss Gregory. Sure, N-Boss Gregory has some experience with a team of long lost past, but and then there's the Wildfire Remus. Let's be real. We never really see too many cohesive tag matches within Inglorious. They're great individualities, but if you expect to take this attitude towards the tag team tournament coming up, I'm sorry, you're not.
Sean, they beat us. The different combinations beat us.
All 3.
Except Remus and Greg. But they have beaten us. Look. We respect you guys as tag teams. We think that you guys are one of the best. Look, we don't like Showtime Inc. too, but you guys got it.
Very interesting words right there. Well, I do not know how to react to that call-out, but I guess you guys both have beef with both teams, and is it a case of not wanting either one to win and having both lose? What you guys have for them?
Oh man, it's hard to say. I mean, for me, I think we have more beef with Showtime Inc.
Okay.
Because history. So I do want to see Inglorious beat them.
Okay, got you. What about you?
I don't care who wins. I just want to see someone get dragged on a bar counter and pull through various amounts of drinks. I just hope to see such chaos happen for that main event.
Awesome. Well, I would love to see that, and if you love to see that, the thought of getting Showtime being dragged across bar counters everywhere, do check out Grapplemax Fight Club 4. Are there still tickets, guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah,
Alright.
I think we also do have drink packages as well. I believe it's a set amount. You get some blokes over. You get a drink along with some mixers as well. Nothing but a good time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So nothing. I think getting drunk, watching wrestling. What is a better combination than that? Right? I think that's pretty awesome right there.
Yeah.
Okay, really cool. And one last thing as well. Before we let you guys go, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Biraj Advisory. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast, supporting the channel. These are the Grapplemax peeps. You guys gotta check them out for Amplify as well, and all the other shows in the future. And everything that you guys are doing is really great for local wrestling as well. Before we talk about, before we kind of wrap up, right? I want to check because you guys say you grew up as a WWE fan. Have you guys been catching a bit of the product recently?
Ooh,
Or are you guys so deep in your local wrestling bubble that you guys haven't been watching any other wrestling?
So for me, I do follow the Australian wrestling scene a lot more.
Okay.
But I do, follow, catch up the clips on Twitter on what's happening in WWE.
Okay, what about you?
For me, I'm oddly attracted to the TJPW product
Ah,
on Wrestle
okay.
Universe, but I do catch up occasionally with WWE and AEW through like Twitter
Yeah.
clips and so. I mean, there's so much wrestling to watch these days.
Yeah,
now, let's be real. Sometimes we just go through Twitter and we see some juicy clips every now and then, but I guess if it's compelling enough, we will hear about it. Yeah?
Okay,
Like,
pretty cool.
That's fair.
If I could trouble you to pull up the match card for King of the, and Queen of the Ring, because I won't be remiss if we don't do this episode without getting your thoughts on actually some of the
let's see.
matches that's
Okay,
happening.
okay.
Because King and Queen of the Ring, if I'm not wrong, Saudi Arabia, right? It's happening around the same time or just a few hours after Fight Club, if I'm not wrong. It's like in the middle of the night, like Sunday, 1 a.m. or 2 p.m. So, if you're a wrestling fan this weekend, man, you're gonna eat good, man, because you're gonna go watch Grapplemax Fight Club, and then when you're all drunk and needing to grab home, you go home straight away, can see the King and Queen of the Ring. So it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pull up the matches. Okay, you don't have to have context. I can give you guys context, but
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts on who might win, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, right, the Raw winner and the SmackDown bracket winner of King of the Ring. If I'm not wrong, the SmackDown bracket is Randy Orton and Tama Tonga.
Okay.
They're gonna fight each other for the SmackDown bracket, and the Raw bracket is Gunther versus Jey Uso. Yeah. So, first of all, for the Raw and SmackDown brackets, who do you think is gonna go to the finals?
You know what? With the Randy Orton and Tama Tonga,
Yep.
Tama Tonga combo, I think this is the first time the WWE audience have been exposed to any wrestling from Tama Tonga. I think Randy Orton as much of a veteran as he is, Tama Tonga is gonna surprise him. Yeah, he can pull up some great decent bangers, and I hope to see him go all the way to the top.
Tama Tonga all the way to the top. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying? Okay, really cool.
Definitely.
What about you?
Oh man, I think I'd like to see in the final Randy Orton versus Gunther. Right? I think Randy does his RKO and Tama Tonga does the Kata as well, but Randy Orton, man, he's the OG.
Randy Orton as a King of the Ring winner, how does that sound?
Between that and Gunther as King of the Ring, I don't know, man.
Can I check? Is Jey Uso still doing the yeet thing?
Oh yeah, he's doing all that. It's a big thing
Yeah, he's
now.
gonna lose. Sorry.
Yeah, poor fella. You didn't even give the fella a chance. Poor fella. Okay, cool. Okay, so of course, like Gunther, I mean, it's a walkover in my opinion. Like, he's gonna go to the finals. But
Yeah.
Gunther, which match would you prefer to see? Gunther versus Randy or Gunther versus Tama Tonga?
Oh,
There you go.
that's interesting. That's an interesting matchup.
Honestly, if we are this is like very Booker mode, but if they want to bring like top stars into the finals and everything, the no biggie is for sure Gunther and Randy Orton, right?
Yeah.
Like definitely that would still be quite a banger. Gunther with his intimidating presence and everything, and Randy Orton with his name brand and just standing in the corner. He can just stand in the corner and just do like that action for like a good 5-10 minutes, and that's good enough. And he's paid for his booking fee.
I mean, he knows how to kind of work his gimmick at this point in his
Yeah,
career,
yeah,
right? Okay, very cool. Okay, I'm trying to find who is actually in the finals of the women's one, but this just shows that I'm not, not as
It's,
tuned into the product as I should be. But I believe on the SmackDown side, it's Nia Jax is gonna face Bianca Belair on the SmackDown side, if I'm not wrong. Because Jade Cargill and Nia Jax, I think this past SmackDown they had like a smosh finish. I think they want to protect Jade Cargill lah.
Okay.
So Nia Jax went through, and then Bianca Belair had like a banger with Tiffany Stratton.
Okay.
So Bianca and Nia is on the SmackDown side, but I can't recall on my side the
we are.
Raw side, right?
Got it.
There we are.
There you go. Okay, so Raw is Lyra Valkyria, who had an awesome showing, by the way, on Raw versus Io Sky. What's your thoughts on all these four competitors and the matchups?
I think it just shows that NXT has developed a ton of awesome talent. I think that's one thing to really appreciate.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm curious also. Lyria, I definitely know the other three women, but Lyria Valkyria, do tell me more about her. I think I haven't been exposed.
So Lyra is she made most of her name in the Irish pro wrestling scene. So she's like almost like Becky Lynch is a bit of a mentor. So they had an awesome series of matches in NXT when Lyra was a champion. So Lyra was a champion, and then Becky and Lyra had kind of like a little feud where Becky kind of did a side quest back in NXT last year and kind of made Lyra. So now that Lyra is kind of back in the ring, back on the main roster, she's kind of showing out lah. She's like kind of being almost like a second to Becky Lynch in her fight against Damage Control. So there's a lot of hype going in for her. Yeah.
Okay. In all honesty, between Belair and Nia Jax, right?
Yeah.
I think Nia Jax takes it.
Alright.
Honestly, there's a lot of like controversial discussion about Nia Jax, right?
Yeah.
Like, she can't wrestle, she's injuring other people. But I believe, like, with her recent resurgence coming back to the company, she's been putting on pretty decent matches and showing off. And definitely, let's be real, she played a good part in Rhea Ripley being real popular.
Yes, she was pretty dope during the Elimination Chamber match, yeah.
You saw it yourself, right?
Yeah,
you
she was in the
enjoyed
main
that?
event. Yeah, she was. She did a good job.
Such a fantastic job. So
Can you see her though going all the way, Nia Jax, as the queen of the ring?
people will hate it, but I believe it makes for a good show. Especially with her going all the way to the finals.
Gotcha.
And that puts up either Io or the winner of Io and Valkyria. I keep messing up
So
the
the thing
names.
is, Io is a heel, right? So I'm just thinking, if Io goes all the way to the finals, it will only make sense to fight Bianca Belair, because Bianca Belair has history with Damage Control, so it will make sense. But I like the idea of Nia going to the finals and having this David versus Goliath match with Lyra, and Lyra like putting on a hell of a showing but eventually losing.
Exactly. I mean, it's great that the Damage Control feud and has been going on for quite a while, but I think WWE realizes that, hey, we need to get those like young stars up and above going. Otherwise, they're not gonna like get anywhere. And hey, who knows? There's another set of releases happening.
That's true. That's true. So in general, I think most of you guys can agree that for the women's side, we guys want either Nia to go through for SmackDown, and for Raw, is it gonna be a bit more of a shock upset with Lyra, or is Io Sky gonna get back her momentum?
I'm leaning towards Io Sky because I'm a big fan of her Stardom work previously and her current work with Damage Control as well. But hey, more than happy to be proven wrong by new upcoming stars.
Okay, all right. Second last match. Speaking of Bronson Reed, your boy Bronson Reed is actually in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title between Sami Zayn and a newly healed Chad Gable. What do you guys think about that matchup?
Bronson Reed, man, all the way.
Oh yeah, the Aussie connection.
All the way.
The Aussie connection.
I'm Sami Zayn's kind of like one of my main inspirations, but then there's Bronson Reed. Oh man, I don't know. It's so tough. I'm torn between the two. Chad Gable can go elsewhere. Just find a ring corner. Like go suplex other people's loved ones. I don't know.
Bro, Chad Gable is has been compared to Perk Angle recently with all the memes and all him going crazy.
He's been underrated this whole time, but he's doing such excellent work right now.
So he should just stay. He should just remain a heel and keep losing.
Yeah, no, I mean remain a heel, but hey, it's kind of sick. Go suplex more people onto the outside of the ring. Keep doing that. Fantastic job.
I love it. Okay, so a torn between Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed, right? Is that
for me.
I'm clear Bronson. I think it's your time, my man.
Okay,
your time.
Go for it. Okay, final match. This is a bit of an unexpected challenger going up for the main event. But we have Cody Rhodes, defending champion, fresh off defeating AJ Styles in Lyon, France. He is going into the King of the Ring tournament, not tournament, but King of the Ring event, PLE, defending the crown against Logan Paul, of all people. And this past SmackDown, they have made it clear they have signed a contract where initially it was supposed to be both titles on the line.
Okay.
But Logan Paul, typical heel move, got his lawyer to redraw up the contract. And now it's only for the WWE Undisputed Championship. What do you guys think about that matchup? What do you guys think about Logan Paul in general?
I think he's a fantastic talent, considering the number of matches he's had yet. He's great.
He gets it, right?
He gets it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I think Cody still has momentum riding on his side.
Okay. What about you?
So let me get it straight. It's between Cody and Logan.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Cody's still my favorite mid-carder.
So
I don't know. I'm a big fan of
Okay,
Logan. I love
okay.
the imagery of Logan Paul 2 belts.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
think it would be such an unfortunate upset for Cody, but actually, I'm quite scared now.
Yeah.
Looking back, like we've seen short-reign WWE champions before.
I mean, a lot of people were is comparing like Austin when he won the title
No,
in '98.
no.
He lost the title at King of the Ring.
I feel like there's gonna be a deja vu of that for sure, right?
Yeah,
Like. Okay, now I want Cody to retain that. I
okay.
just don't want that short reign to destroy whatever happened.
Question,
right?
WWE fans or wrestling fans in general are notoriously fickle, right? Once they get one babyface become the champion, after suddenly the next week, bored of this guy already. Boo him, And we've seen Cody had gone through that whole situation in AEW, right? Now they call him Homelander, all that nonsense. So, do you think WWE is able to successfully book a babyface enough that people won't turn on Cody, at least until the storyline decides it? Because right now, in my opinion, he's really, really fresh as a champion. He needs to build up those wins, but the crowd's getting impatient. There's people online talking about he's boring champion, blah blah blah. If you guys put your booker hat on, right, how do you keep the momentum for a babyface champion to stay on top?
That's actually not easy because a lot of the fans want to support the babyface during the chase. Right? I think that's kind of the tricky part because now that the chase is over, what's next?
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe it's the chase defeating the next big bad. But who's the next big bad? Like currently right now, I mean from what I've barely followed, I can't really see anyone.
Yep.
Right? Maybe it's Roman Reigns, maybe it's The Rock down the road.
Yep.
But then throughout this whole maybe another 9-10 months more, how
are they going to sustain?
How are they going to sustain that, right? How are they going to maybe build The Rock, who's not going to be around, to be that big bad, that Cody has to climb up that journey to beat The Rock?
Okay.
I think that's going to be a bit tricky.
What about you?
I'm sorry, WWE fans, that's what you asked for. It's the same product as AEW. You are going through what AEW fans have suffered, so
Okay.
I think it's perfectly understandable what the fans are going through, and you make Cody your champion. Congratulations, you got Cody as your champion.
Oh, you got a Cody hater here. Okay.
Not Cody hater. I'm just saying that you get what you cheered for.
All right. Very, very interesting. But you know what? I have a very nuanced opinion of Cody because I do feel like Cody in the chase is really, really good.
Yep.
Cody going through adversity is really, really good. But Cody as a champion, he needs to do more to kind of get people on their side.
Yep.
Yeah, he has to do more. And I feel like him having an edge is good. Him being lovable and telling long stories is not good. So, I don't know how often WWE is gonna lean on giving him adversity, but he needs to do more, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Okay, thank you guys for giving your opinion on King and Queen of the Ring. And for the last time, if you guys haven't gotten tickets for Grapplemax Fight Club, you guys gonna catch Aussie in action. You guys gonna catch Showtime Inc. versus Inglorious and a lot of awesome stuff. There are still tickets left, right? Can I confirm?
Yeah,
It's selling out real quick, so we might sell out in the next few days. Who knows?
Awesome. So you guys better DM Grapplemax, go find out all the information you need. Once again, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. Shout out to Young. Please show all your support to Young. He's having a bit of a little family situation, family emergency. So, but please give you all the support. Hopefully, we are all back next week. I'm gonna be in Europe, so I'm gonna be checking out all the matches, from Europe. But hopefully, I can kind of review it as well. We'll see who can represent Kick to the Gut on the day itself.
Nice.
So once again, Mr. Young's not here, but it's foreign in the building. It's Aussie.
Oi!
Take care.